Small businesses are nothing to glaze over. Made in Muncie's Torrin Scott knows this.
Originally was opened up in 2004. It was the Artist Within. Back then I was the throwing instructor here. It was owned by Bob and Vicki Hartley. It was a paint your own pottery studio, and then I added the element of the wet clay. It was offered to buy the business when I was coming back to town. So shortly after I got back into town, we made all that happen. We ended up changing the name a few years later. It was 2016. We changed it over to Made in Muncie. The first time I got on the wheel, I think it was the first time I realized it was something that I might, continue later in life, I guess. I don't know. It wasn't. I had a passion for art. I liked art. I thought art was neat and cool, and I've been over to the Louvre and things like that, all through all through my upbringing, and then, but I don't think it was until I was introduced to clay in high school that I really kind of grabbed hold of it a little more thoroughly. There was a ceramics teacher there, and Marianne Ray. She used to teach over at Yorktown High School, and I took a class from her, and then I was hooked. I had, I used all my summer job money, all my graduation money when I graduated high school, everything that scraped together to buy my first this old hunk. And there's a kiln in the back that's still running from back when I graduated high school.
Out of high school, Torrin went to Purdue University to study engineering, but he didn't quite fit the mold there.
It wasn't for me, and I decided to transfer to Ball State to focus on art.
But this wasn't the right time either.
So I ended up joining the Navy. Spent some years there. I was the youngest in my command to get my CDI, which was a collateral duty inspector. Youngest in rank. I don't know about age. I had joined a little later than some of those guys and called me grandpa in boot camp. And then January 2010, I got hit by a car, just out of nowhere, and ended my Navy career. So, all kind of was serendipitous that I ended up buying this studio when I got back. But yeah, it was a pretty brutal hit and run. I was a pedestrian versus an automobile. You don't ever win those. I don't think, anyway. I'm going back to school in the fall to kind of study with Vance and Ted Neal over at Ball State, and so I'm really excited about that, to kind of be able to focus on my own ceramics a little bit.
In Muncie, Nick Ciano reporting.